said I'm smoking on something, that shit gon' probably give me lung cancer. Nah, it's fucked up. I said I'm smoking on something, that shit gon' probably give me lung cancer. Wrist cold, man, a nigga should be riding on Prancer. Dancer, dashing Donner, got a vixen in her bonnet. All you niggas commenting, lil' shawty want a baller. All you niggas dumb pill poppers and your bitches in your wallet. Off the purdies, can't stop her. Bitch, she on my jack, forgot to call it, ayy. If a nigga dog my John, forgot to call it, ayy, woo. Pull up in a coupe, all you niggas fool, fool. With my cousin's Crips, all you niggas land. Sure, it's no problem, I'd be glad to give your bitch my kids. No, it's not gymnastics, but I get the patch and watch it flip.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the 4.7% podcast. It's a Wednesday. We got Igalo, we got Kendall K-Swizz, Kanisha, our guest, and yeah, your host Kwaku as usual. So today, since we have Kanisha on, she's really into these personalities. And just discovering your personality, right? You said star signs?
Yeah.
Astrology. Yeah, what is the name like astrology?
Yeah.
So astrology, and then the Myers-Briggs personalities. I want to kick it off talking about that.
Okay. So, did everyone finish the Myers-Briggs quiz?
I don't know about.
I was a little disappointed.
Why were you disappointed?
Because I used to be an ENTP, but I guess I've transitioned and now I'm ESTP.
So
you said you got both, right?
Okay, but I decided that I was an ENTP.
That's not how it works.
And now I've gotten ESTP.
all
times
right.
in a row.
Just for everyone listening who might not
I
understand
don't
the
even think there's an S.
personalities, there's definitely an S.
There's not an S.
That's
For the second letter.
Yeah, it is.
It's...
Look at the
Observant
blues, the
Sentinel.
Sentinels.
That's something.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Wow.
So
For those who don't know.
yeah, what do the letters mean, and what are the
Okay.
options?
So the first one, there's either I or E, which is the one everyone usually knows. So that's introverted or extroverted. It's pretty straightforward. There's intuitive and sensing or observant, which is why I got confused. So intuitive is more like sensing things, like thinking with your gut, kind of just like having your own personal intuition. And observing is being really observant of your environment, and, kind of doing like a lot
Yeah,
of
I knew that's what S was. It wasn't sensing.
Yeah. So then feeling is like basically being more of an emotional thinker and like kind of reading other people.
Mm-hmm.
And then versus thinking, which is being more like analytical and logical. Prospecting. I think prospecting is kind of like building on what you intuit and,
I always thought of perspecting more like just perceiving.
Yeah,
perceive.
pretty much. It's just like, it's like more empathetic thinking, and then judging is being like making very like decisive decisions. I don't know. I get that one like a little mixed up. I haven't thought about that one in a while.
Wait, so is the third letter you can get T or?
Yeah, the fourth letter you can get is T or P.
No, so
no.
third letter,
The third
F
letter,
or T.
Yeah, F or T. And
So
then
that's thinking
there's
versus feeling.
P or J. Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah,
We
P or
do them
J.
every one today.
All
And then on 16 personalities are like more.
Shouts out to
advanced
16
tests.
personalities.
Oh yeah, 16personalities.com. But you can have, or like more detailed tests, you can have turbulent or assertive.
Oh, really?
So then turbulent people are just kind of like indecisive, have like a lot of like, like active energy. And then assertive people, they're like pretty stubborn, like stuck to.
So I gotta say, with all this, right, there's only 16 personality types. Is that what you're telling me?
I think,
I mean categories, right? I mean, there's obviously differences between two people who get the same personality type.
So if you look at so obviously I think they try to it's on. They try to assert it with basically everyone has the spectrum between these 4 different categories, and that's what gives you your personality type. So you can be on the fence with some things or more things than others. But still, I don't understand the whole box, the idea of the box, because especially with a lot of questions that all these tests ask you, right, that are situational. I just don't know if
especially because there's that scale of you've got 3 levels of like agreeing, then you've got neutral, and then you've got 3 of like disagree.
Yeah,
like,
so usually with these tests, they give, especially with 16 personalities, they give you like a 6-point Likert scale, like 3 in the negative, 3 in the positive, and then a neutral, 7-point.
I do think that's part of it, right? Like, to what extent do you feel from the way you perceive yourself to think these things, right?
Yeah.
And then the way you perceive the question. Like, these questions are worded in a certain way on purpose.
True. So then, is this really something you can self-diagnose?
I mean, I feel like the way to think about it and the way, like, why I'm really in, like, as someone who's, like, very theoretical and, like, very logical, like, the way I rationalize, like, being really into, like, the stuff that doesn't matter is, I mean, it's just helpful for me personally to, like, understand why I make the decisions I do. Like, it's less productive to think about it as this, like, firm box that you just fit neatly in. It's more productive to think about it in terms of, like, how you understand, your actions and your motivations and how you collaborate with other people. Which is why I think it's, like, so fun. And it's, like, really fun to just, like, it's a helpful tool to be self-aware and also just, like, to be humble and, like, make fun of yourself. Like, it's just fun,
I can definitely see, like, how it's fun, because, I mean, like, I got ENTP. And, like, I don't know, my E is really, ENTP.
Oh,
that's like,
my God.
You're both, like, STEM majors, right?
That's like the debater. Is that yours?
No, it's not fine.
No,
that's what I want to be.
That's what you want to be?
That's what I was.
I don't
but
think.
I'm not anymore.
I just don't think you're like P is perceiving, right? I don't think you perceive.
ESTP and ENTP are super similar.
Oh, you were S.
Yeah.
So sensing versus intuition.
Yeah.
So
that's what I started
curious.
to begin with. I was like, the definitions are like they're
or observant versus intuition.
They're pretty similar. Okay, so here's what irked me, and I think this speaks to your point about not thinking about it as like a rigid category, rigid box kind of thing. What irked me about getting ESTP is that it said I would engage in a lot of risky behavior. I don't think I'm. I don't
think you engage in risky behavior.
No,
Kendall, what's in this model?
I think I'm generally risk averse.
I see.
Like if you really think about it, like I don't do crazy things.
Really?
So just to give you guys context, the entrepreneur. So ESTP is like entrepreneur. That's like it's under the explorer category of these personalities, and then ENTP is debater under the analyst category. Yeah. So that's what Kendall is delineating between.
I think people who know you would think that you're down for like anything.
I thought you were down for everything.
I think it's
especially when.
But see, I think you can be no. I think you can be down for certain types of different experiences and be open to those. But that doesn't mean you do risky things, right? It's all within reason. Well, right? Okay, so I may. Right now, what can I say on the podcast? Where like.
We'll give you time to chew on it.
Okay, let me think of an example.
You've done some pretty risky things, I think,
but not in risky ways.
No, that's not how that works.
No.
Please, Kanisha, step in.
Okay, for example, right? We're all 21, right?
No.
Okay, well, the rest of us are 21.
I'm 22,
right? So we all may drink, right, in a certain way, and we all may have nights where like we may drink a lot, right? But I will never be that person who's just way out of control, just can't handle their.
But I don't think that's like when people are like that. It's usually not their intention to get. And I think
no, but that's my point. Like I very much go into these situations. I may be trying to have fun, but you'll never catch me just like off the edge doing risky things.
I feel like that's not what that question means.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's like helpful if you think about. Because that's giving you like a full picture, right? So it's helpful if you think about it and think about that letter in isolation. So sensing, from a different website, sensing means that a person mainly believes information he or she receives directly from the external world. So it's like you take cues from your external world, and I feel like that means that you have like a certain confidence that allows you to do more risky behavior. I mean, you can do that with intention, but that doesn't change the fact that it's like risky or maybe a little deviant, like, and you're like, you have the confidence and like the willingness to explore that, even if you like do it with a measured. You know what I mean?
No, I think that's like a great way to.
I think it's a tough pill for him to swallow.
Yeah, I feel like you're just not being self-aware right now, Kendall, which is fine. That's what these tests are for.
For me, it's like the difficult thing is deciding between INTP, the logician, and ENTP the debater, because I don't know whether like I'm I or E.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can I say one thing?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so about the description for risk prone, let me read it out.
Okay.
This impatience can lead entrepreneurs to push into uncharted territory without thinking of long-term consequences. Entrepreneur personalities sometimes intentionally combat boredom with extra risk. I would not say I just don't think that's accurate.
Okay.
For like the way
Well,
that I go, I always think about long-term.
I mean, I can commiserate here because when you look at all the introvert personalities, they act like, you're like this person who's real tentative to like leave their room and like, like really tentative to put themselves out there. And like, I'm doing this podcast. Like, I'm obviously like comfortable putting myself out there, even though sometimes like there's nights like I just want to chill by myself, watch my Netflix, read a book, not really be the person who's always out there. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I got a INT. Well, the last one I took it, which was a really long time ago, I'm pretty sure it was INTJ. So I think that's like what the first one is introversion. Second one N is
intuitive. That's like, you just rely on your gut.
Yeah.
Then T is thinking.
J is what?
Judging.
Judging.
Like you.
Like people?
It's more like you impact the world more than you like perceive and taking in. You're acting, not reacting.
Okay.
Yeah, judging
Really?
means that a person organizes all of his life events and, as a rule, sticks to his plans. So it's just being like a very.
It's like adaptability would be the opposite.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like with
Well, how do you feel about yours?
So right, so
think?
it's like if I choose to go the I route, then it's just like an unexamined life is not worth living. Like that's not true. Like really, like it's like I'm someone who's very comfortable with who I am, and I understand that I'm not a rah pep guy like all the time. Whereas, I'll be the guy who's leading the group many times, but like I'll also be the guy who's perfectly fine in the background, and that's something I'm just comfortable being.
So I think like.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, this is
Yeah, that sounded like you were about to like clap back. Like
I think a more productive way to think about introversion and extroversion too, which is like more of the way a lot of people lean now, is like introversion. They like talk about it in terms of drawing energy. So introverted people lose a lot of energy when being around other people and collaborating, and extroverted people will like feel energized. Feel energized doing that kind of work. Like even if you need to take times to be like less of a central role, like you still draw energy from the situation.
So I've definitely heard that before.
Yeah.
And I can tell you 100%. I like that. I don't fall on that spectrum where it's like, right, like the times I need to rest and stay hidden, like that would be drawing my energy from like being like alone in my thoughts. I love those times, but I just as much like have times where I'm like, I really need to get out and like be with people, and I know like, you see like all these like introvert memes where it's just like, like when, someone cancels plans on me like last minute, so then I have to be alone, like then like, you're secretly cheering inside. Like that's never like that is me sometimes, but like it's not always me,
I mean, it just sounds like an extrovert because as for me as like an introverted person, like I do like being with other people, but I usually prefer to be alone. And that doesn't mean, like, I come across very bubbly and extroverted. Because, like, I, like, love being, like, I love talking to other people, and I'm, like, fascinated with them. But, like, every weekend, I just, like, sit at home. And, like, I'm actually perfectly okay with it. And sometimes I'll, like, invite people over, maybe. But, like, you know what I mean? Because, like, it's very, very exhausting for me to be around other people. And I never feel energized by being around other people. So, like, you might have a different experience where you, like, that flickers a little bit more for you. But just because you can value time alone, like, it's, like, trying to draw a deeper meaning from energy. So the fact that you can still draw energy from being around other people and that doesn't exhaust you, though you can appreciate being alone, still might make you a little more introverted.
I think an idea I've really thought about a lot about is, these personalities, you have these categories. They're not like innate necessarily, and experiences change.
So you're saying they change over time,
right?
Yeah.
Like there's like a temporal kind of aspect to all these personalities. Have you thought about that? Like
Yeah,
they change over time.
I've been taking these for years. because I'm just an interested. And I haven't noticed mine change ever. Like maybe the percentages will change like a little bit, but yeah, no. I mean, I just might be a consistent person. Like other people, like I definitely think that's a valid point to bring up.
Because I think college has made me more of an introvert.
So what I question with that is, I'm wondering, like, is it that, you know, we're changing as people over time, or we're just getting better at self-diagnosing ourselves, or like you diagnose yourself in a different light?
Interesting.
Like it could just be that
you have more experiences and realize, actually, you know what, I'm not that person.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not what
exactly. Or it's like, I remember like when I was like under pressure to like kind of like be like, you know, the best version of you for like, you know, college applications and stuff. And I took something like this test. And like I would never be like, I can't be organized. It's like, what do you mean I can't be organized? Like I need to like, you know, I value myself like as in someone who can like, you know, organize and coordinate and get shit done. But now that I'm away from this pressure and like, you know, in college you're just allowed to kind of like let be for a little bit because you kind of pick and choose the kind of things that you want to be a part of and the kind of people you want to associate yourself with. I can tell you that I'm a person who really likes to go with the flow like way more than I do like to plan or organize something. So yeah.
I do think stressors can definitely dictate your personality and the way you perceive yourself. I would think it gets more accurate as you get older. Right? Would you?
I don't even
more experiences.
Oh,
wow. Let's go.
So the lights just came off.
If you heard me clap, that's because I was trying to turn the lights on.
There we go. Got that motion sensing.
I don't know that they get more accurate than we feel that they're more accurate. I like push back on the term self-diagnosing a little bit, you know, because it sounds like a little medicalized and like, you know, not every part of you is okay, which I kind of just stand. Like that's not how I like to interpret who I am. I would call it just being more self-aware, and being more understanding of who you are wholly. And so maybe you don't like identify with some. Like, either with the test, which is, like, written by other people, so, of course, you cannot identify with it, but even, like, things other people tell you about yourself, but I don't know, as you grow into that, either you perform with other people tell you you are, or you, like, start to notice more about yourself because you spend more time with yourself. So, I don't know, I don't really...
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like these tests, it's just kind of a lens, you know, like, for seeing yourself, and... I mean, lenses, like, aren't always perfect, you know, like, sometimes, you know, like...
Mine aren't.
Yeah, like, in mirrors, like, on the car, it's like, objects appear closer than they act, or than they act. There's, like, you know, like, you just have to take, like, how you view yourself with a grain of salt, even.
Yeah, self-diagnosed was definitely, like, it wasn't, like, as if it's not you or, like, there's something wrong that you need to change. It was just, like... The fact that someone else isn't independently observing me and I'm making decisions about myself, I feel like for me is very colored on the way I feel and like the experiences I've been through at that point. And I don't know if it gets better with age because I think there's times in your life where you feel the need to be something else or you feel like other skills are valued in your situation. Like, I know a big part of my identity in high school is valuing the fact that I was, like, smart, right? But then I come here and it's like, being smart doesn't really mean that much. Like, if someone told me I was smart at this university, I'm just like, okay. It's like hitting you with that. He's nice. It's like hitting you with like, well, he's nice, you know, like.
I mean, I think some.
That destroyed me, by the way.
Oh, smart or being nice?
I'm sure, like everyone at this table, the smart thing. I was smarter than like everyone growing up. Mm-hmm. Got like all the accolades through like middle school, high school, and then I came here.
I got
like
that
my fall quarter, like just like it just destroyed me because I wasn't the smartest person in like not like one or just like any room I was in.
So.
Not that
I know Kendall. I know Kendall can because I know like you went to a magnet school in the city. Like I went to a public school, but like, it was still like a top 100 public school in Northern Virginia, and like I wasn't the top of my class. I was the top quarter of my class. We actually didn't do valedictorian, salutatorian because it's just so contentious.
So then I
remember when I came here and people were talking about, you know, where they ranked in like their classes and everything. And I still remember I was like, I think I was probably like, I don't know, like 70th percentile or something like that. Or something like that.
Top quarter. Top quarter.
I was like pretty good, but by no means was I on track to be valedictorian at my school. I got that shit beat out of me very quickly at my high school. And I think it's good. I think it's good that I had that experience, that I realized that, look, I'm not the smartest, but I have other talents, I have other things to offer. And honestly, being at the top doesn't mean much if you don't get results, right? Like it's about like what you can do with your life, as opposed to like, do I have that 3.9 or like 4.0 GPA? That's not really what it's
that's
about,
one thing I've really realized, especially like in the computer science major. Like honestly, like in about every class I've been in, like I've known like they're just like flat out geniuses. Like they're like on the same wavelength as the professor before we even like get any assignments or something. Yeah. Like, and there are honestly people who like. I had this comment actually from someone in my class today. Like I've been coding since before like Stack Overflow, and that's like the number one like help like website that you go to for like constant help like ever. So it's like they've been like before it even started. So it's like, and like I can't.
I just imagine her responding to this pretentious person like, that's so silly though.
Like,
honestly, I have people like telling me like they'll hit me with like like. This midterm that's supposed to take home midterm, it's supposed to take like 3 hours. I'll be like, I did in 45 minutes. And it's like that posturing is like just kind of a part of computer science. And like I've just never been that kind of person.
See, but that's okay.
Yeah,
that's what you need to come to realize, that it's okay.
And like I'm glad for my high school experience, because I know like I'm never gonna be that person. Like I'm like there's this wavelength of people I know somewhere. Like they'll be real quiet.
Like, I saw someone once, I think in one of the like popular U Chicago groups, joke about like, oh, there should be like a club or like a self-help kind of thing. Just like, I mean, I don't want to use like AA as an example, but how people like lean on each other when they have like trouble. And it's just like this, they were like, there should be a group at U Chicago for kids who like constantly throughout life were told that they were the best or were always like applauded for their achievements. And then they get here and it just cripples them, because it really fucked me up my first year.
Damn.
And like, it's, of course there are like other things that like, people are probably good at that they don't realize, but it's like, for me, and like I don't think I'm a particularly like egotistical person, but to have been told I was smart, which I am, like all my life, and then like get to a place where it's like I'm not even like top 30 here percent wise, and like and I know that, and that's okay now, but like it's also like I had to like take some time after my first year and like look inward and say, okay, like, where else do I find my value? Because for me, and like for like most people, just like in my town, it was like, oh, like the Obi sisters, because I have a couple sisters, but it's like they're like the smart kids, or like go to them for help, or like this is who's on like, I mean, we were always principals list, this, whatnot, like trophies, that kind of stuff. So when you grow up in that kind of childhood and then you come to this kind of environment and you're not that, it like, it's just very hard to find, okay, so where's my self-worth and my value? Because like I was a smart kid and like I'm not that here,
The way like I definitely like try to value myself here, like knowing that I'm not the smartest person. I've known I'm not the smartest person for like a real long time now. Like I think like I think like since second grade, like I've known. Like I knew like I'm up there, but like
I didn't even start off as like that. Honestly, if you look at my elementary school, I wasn't even that great of a student. like I got to that point, but I mean probably 5th grade, I really wasn't like, I was smart, but I was never that guy.
Yeah. So what I've done, like I mean, I know I'm a really good generalist. Like, I'm good at getting into things and, like, becoming competent at a lot of different things, right? So, like, that's my identity. Like, I can kind of connect with anybody, like, on a large array of, like, things I'm good at or, competent at. I don't know.
No, to speak to your point about trying to, to find value in something else, I think that struggle is super important. But I do recognize that when you throw people in there that have only really ever had the smart thing as like them, and if they can't find it soon enough, they can really spiral. It can become like a downward turn.
It's a real thing. Like
and imposter syndrome, sets in.
It sounds kind of pathetic, but
terrible.
like it's real. It doesn't make me or any of these other people like bad persons. It's just like you don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Like I just assumed growing up in high school, if I walked into a classroom or any other room, I was usually like on the smarter end of the spectrum. And then
you can take it to them.
I mean, yeah. So and then it's just like. I don't know. It's a real thing because it's hard to put it into words without sounding like pathetic or like snowflakeish, which is like a word thrown at our generation a lot. But it's a very real thing.
Mm-hmm. I think where do you all find value in yourselves, like aside from academics?
Getting real in our fields right now.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like what do you fall back on?
Well, my experience is different from yours because. When I got here, I had a crutch to kind of lean on because I'm from like the deep rural South. I'm from Alabama, so I mean I've always been taught. Like I graduated 8th in my class, but it's like my dad's been telling me for years my school was horrible. I went to public school. There are years when we couldn't afford, like teachers would have us buy the papers so they could print things for us. And,
oh man.
Yeah, it just was not a like.
It's like one of those bottom 5 states.
It's not great. People were really excited when they got well, I won't say the ACT score thing, but it's just like it wasn't an impressive school. So to come here, I kind of like had a crutch to lean on where I was like, okay, I like already started off kind of disadvantaged. I didn't even go to a magnet school. I didn't even go to a good public school. Far from it, a private school that was decent. So.
Yeah. The sheer amount of people who go to private schools here
blew
my mind.
Stupid.
Blew my mind.
Stupid the amount of people who have like boarding
and it's
school,
like the type. Once I
private
get a
school,
name,
boarding school, private
like
yeah. When I started hearing like certain common names, like before I came to U Chicago, I had no idea what Exeter was.
Exactly.
Like what?
True. No,
that's the Midwest thing. No. I guess you're East Coast. You didn't have.
So the thing about East Coast, like I definitely knew that like people who went to private schools, and I knew about Exeter and stuff like that. And like about all those pre-college programs that everyone does, but what I didn't realize was how much more like advantage you are going to a private school to get into a top university you are versus going to like a public school. Because my public school is good, like it was the top 100 public school.
This is what kills me when people talk about like affirmative action candidates or like people who like from disadvantaged backgrounds and stuff. It's like you're really just not on the same playing field at all.
Like it's very, very, very different. Like what did I do? I like wrote one paper my entire time in high school, maybe 2.
What? Really?
We only had one AP class and it was calculus AB. Mm-hmm. So I came here with no credit. I came here with like, I had to start in like 151, but I came here with 1/4 French credit because I took online classes for 4 years. Like we didn't even have a real French teacher.
And that was all the credit that you've.
Yeah, that's all the credit I came in. I did my entire course the first year because I felt like I didn't have a lot of choice. But I mean, I say all this to be like, I knew when I came in that it wasn't going to be peaches and cream for me. Mm-hmm. And I took a lot of value in like my work experiences, like. My first summer here, I got to go to LA and work for a production company. My second summer, I got to work for a film house here in Chicago. I work for the Illinois Department of Juvenile Justice now, which are all opportunities that I never, like, I don't know. I just thought I was going to, like, come to school and that was going to be it. I never imagined, like, any of these other opportunities. Like, I never even left, like, the Southeast before until I came to college.
No, the discrepancy and differences are real because, like, from being from, like, mid-Atlantic, like, outside D.C., basically. D.C., you see everything. Like, the embassies even open up themselves to, like, open houses. So you can kind of walk in for free and learn about a new culture, like, any day of the week. Yeah. So, like, I always thought, like, like, what I see around me is kind of, like, I understand I have privilege. I always understood that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I come here and I realize that there were, like... 30 levels of privilege like above me. Yeah. It kind of blew my mind.
I mean, dude, you see people, both parents millionaires, their families are millionaires, like Exeter private school.
I'm invited to summer homes,
They've had SAT tutors,
Heard about private islands, like, I'm not even gonna lie, like.
AP classes just out the building, you know what I mean? It's just, And then you get, kind of like a Kanisha story where, like, you don't write papers necessarily, and, like, you have one AP class or something.
Yeah.
And people expect those two types of people to be looked at through the same lens, and that just doesn't make sense,
And it's definitely not something that you can, like, reduce to a number like the SAT hopes to do or the GPA hopes to do. Because, and, like, I can tell you that, like, honestly, just, like, especially, like, in the Black community, people just don't know. Like, and, like, I educate kids on the south side of Chicago, and it's, like, there are some real smart people over there who, like, care about real issues that I didn't even think about, like, when I was in high school. So it's, like, there's a real need for people in this world to be educated. And, like, they're just not on the same level. Like, they're not near ready.
And by the way, I just want to mention, I'm not knocking people who went to, like, private schools or anything. You're not, like, inherently. Like,
I'm more of like
I went to private school for 2 years.
Yeah, it's like you're inherently not deserving. I just think you should understand that other people don't come from your kinds of backgrounds. So when those kinds of people get certain boosts, you shouldn't be as upset about it. Is what I'm trying to say.
And I think it's also a realization that it's like it's not to tear down. Yeah, it's not to tear down like the people at the top. It's like we got to push up the bottom. We got to be like, yo, we got some work to do.
Can I say though, this is just it made me thinking about like schools and stuff. There was this instance first year where it's just like it's just like, oh, okay, so I'm definitely like not in Kansas anymore. Like Chicago was definitely like
great praise.
Thank you. A culture shock, right? I was in a class. Maybe I shouldn't even say the class to not narrow it down. It's not a big deal, but like this girl saw me wearing like a sweatshirt or a hoodie that was kind of like this dark crimson color, and it had Riverdale Athletics on it because I played soccer in high school. And she was like, oh, nice, you went to Riverdale. And then she started talking, and she was like, did you know so-and-so and so-and-so? And I was like, no, because I had a pretty big high school, so it didn't, like, faze me yet. And she was like, I went to Riverdale as well. And I was like, oh, word, like, who was your homeroom or blah, 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 or, like, who did you hang with, that kind of stuff, just to kind of see. And then she started asking about teachers, and then she started mentioning aspects of the campus that, like, I knew.
Yeah, it was like a pool.
The golf course. Like,
there were, like, aspects of, like, my campus. And then I was like, I don't know where it clicked in the conversation, but eventually she was like, oh, I went to, like, Riverdale in New York. Riverdale in New York is, like, it's no joke. Like, they have a history of just, like, celebrities, children going through there, very rich politicians, or other people who are just, like, very rich. That's the kind of place that she went to. It's in New York, right? It's not Connecticut. It's, like, up. I don't know. It's up there. It's, like, one of those very rich schools. I think one of the Kennedys, or a couple of Kennedys went to the school. Word that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, word. I was like, I went to Riverdale in Tennessee. There are three main Riverdales. There's Riverdale in Atlanta, Georgia, Riverdale in like the Nashville area, and then that Riverdale up in New York.
Oh, they're associated with each other?
No, they're not. It's just that they said that name, but it's like if you Google like Riverdale High School, Riverdale Academy, those are the first three that will come up. They're like the most, I guess, popular or well known for like Riverdale schools.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's just like once I was like, oh, I'm from Tennessee and like the just regular average public high school, it's like I saw her eyes just glaze over. I like that she just like it's just like this light faded.
So I used to do a lot of interviews for like Money Think, which is an artist I was like involved in pretty heavily, and like I was on the board, right? So that's why I was doing interviews, and some of these kids' resume, like you got kids like from the Bay Area who were, you know, in startups before like they left high school. Like the idea, like, and then you also got kids who like, you know, they're sons of hedge fund managers who started finance clubs with other sons of hedge fund managers.
I don't really understand what a hedge fund is.
To kind of combine your 2 points, right? You talked about the lack of knowledge in the Black community. You talked about like you don't even know what that means. I did not know what investment banking was until maybe like spring quarter freshman year, and I went to a good high school, like in Chicago.
I'm going to tell you something real funny.
Are you good?
Oh, sorry. I was just moving my foot.
Okay.
No, I think the mic caught it.
Like
which
these,
is why I was
like
Oh, the
if
mic
you,
catches
like if
everything.
you would have told me, okay, a job in finance, I'd be like, oh, like a
Investment
bank teller,
banking, is it-
like
Oh.
like
a bank teller.
or like you know, or
I knew it wasn't that.
No, or like something along those lines, but nothing like sales and trading or like like I just that world was completely removed like from my understanding.
So yeah, so my mom actually went to Booth. So she was an investment banker for a while, but like I didn't understand that, especially when she was going through it. So like honestly, I don't think I really knew what investment
Were
banking
you
was.
like alive? Were you born then? When she
Yeah, I was like
okay.
in first grade probably.
Okay,
Yeah, my parents, immigrant story. They came over real late, so it's like.
what does your dad do?
My dad, he works in power basically, but like yeah, now he works from home. He has like his own like little startup thing.
Yeah,
Like, okay, so what that
like he's in the
like
White House
energy,
or
like
what?
energy, like those
So you're better than us.
like Nigerian, like the Nigerians with the oil, like actual like power commodities. He's not a Nigerian with oil, but like
Wait, your dad's a Nigerian,
no, he's not a Nigerian. He's an engineer.
but he's a Ghanaian.
Ghanaian? No, I'm just saying that kind of power. But he's an engineer.
Nigerians with
Interesting.
Who-
Skeptical.
So okay, if you want me to get, all right, I'm gonna take a minute and get into tax here. All right, so basically, like how you can trade like stocks, right, on the stock market. You can do the same thing with power lines.
Are you serious?
Yes. People buy and sell.
Trade power lines.
It's just a different kind of exchange. It's like the same system where you have tickers and like whatnot, but like it's a different commodity.
Dad trades power lines. That's like a.
I think
Yeah.
you're picturing like literal trading of power lines.
Well, no, like I'm assuming it's like on a laptop.
Yeah. So you
like
trade.
get on it or something. I don't know.
You trade the energy flows. You trade off the energy flows, like through the power line, right? Certain amounts of power flow through a line at a certain amount of time. It supplies like certain areas with power. That's what you trade. Like,
I guess I just don't understand the.
How? Like the steps or the tech.
Or like, why would you do that? I guess is what I'm like to get more power. But then like,
no, it's not really to get more power. It's a derivative market, right? So just like how no one really gets more money just because you own certain shares of a company then sell certain shares of a company. This is a secondary market where you predict how that's going to happen. You can make money off those predictions.
yeah, I don't like that.
You don't like it because you don't understand it, but that's honestly
you're absolutely right.
That's absolutely what
why
funds
I
your
don't like
pensions.
About a whole profession. Like I don't.
So because actually, I had the joy of like having to explain this to little kids, like not little kids, like high schoolers, but like basically,
Joy.
this is what funds your pensions. This is what funds people's retirement accounts, your 401ks, like these markets.
No, I know.
Money
Like,
flows in a lot of different directions that people.
It's actually really necessary.
But Quaco, I think it's just all fake.
But that's the thing.
Just like science.
Everything is fake. Science is fake.
Okay, Kyrie.
Yeah, I was gonna.
No, okay. Cool. I have something to tell you. Science is fake, and so is trading.
Really disrespectful to Bill Nye.
I mean, I'm sorry,
He
Bill.
knows it's
Like,
fake.
I mean, look, I'm pre-med at the University of Chicago.
And you said science is fake.
I can confirm.
Dude, like I don't know if we
Science
can
is
really
fake.
post this thing now. Like, what if like whatever like medical institution you're trying to apply to like gets hold of this tape?
Okay, medical.
He'd be out here going like
Medical
science is fake.
institutions- medical
The world is
institutions-
flat.
I'm kidding, but I'm really just trying to say a lot of things are.
I like that. Just
The
like
lights
each
went
time we
up.
just
Yeah.
have to like.
Get up a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I mean science isn't fake, but it's
What Kendall is
How
saying
can I
is
say
that bodies of knowledge are constructed, and that
exactly.
our understanding of what is objective is constructed, but the Earth is not flat.
Yeah, no, I mean, by no means,
That was-
by no means am I
The
saying,
Earth
by no
is
means am I
not
saying
flat.
medicine doesn't work or anything like that or that.
Medicine
No vaccine.
Vaccines work. Vaccinate your kids.
Yeah, so I think the more nuanced way to say that is that no matter whatever you have, you start with people's assumptions. Like it's actually kind of funny because modern science, actually science in general, started with trying to prove the existence of God, right?
Yeah.
So you have like something so empirical rooted in like sheer assumption and like premise. And that's the case with everything. Like actually one interesting thing is now that people are moving to artificial intelligence, I'm gonna get a little nerdy with you with comp sci now. The thing is, right, because Silicon Valley is so white, like how does that affect
Okay.
Oh, how does that affect artificial intelligence?
Yeah, how does that affect artificial intelligence? Because what we're teaching computers to learn on their own is developed from what our perceptions of the world, but it's not the perceptions of the whole world. It's the perceptions of
So you're saying
the rich elite.
After going through
white
slavery
people.
with white people, we're gonna have to deal with robots.
It might not get that extreme, but it might be that.
But quickly though. I mean, but part of
a lot of things here.
We'll get
but okay.
Yeah.
To be fair though, part of our artificial intelligence does draw from like real conversations, right?
Yeah,
With different types of people.
but that's the thing.
So it's not like it's just white people
kind of
programming.
Dogs are
They would presumably
I
have
have to like
White
teach
people-
more to, like,
they would presumably have data
Yeah.
on other cultures' conversations.
So here's the thing, right? Think of artificial intelligence as like a computer with a mind, right?
Yeah.
That computer with a mind has to learn certain things, right? And what is it gonna learn from first, right? It's probably gonna learn from the people who created it, right? That environment, right? When you're doing all these test runs,
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like even like driverless cars. Like I don't think this is an issue at all, but like right, facial recognition software is based off of Polaroid cameras. Like right,
Yeah.
it started with cameras. Now it's like we're online Facebook, right?
Right.
What if the driverless car doesn't see black people?
I mean, I think that's a real problem for a lot of technologies. It's just
Yeah.
not built for.
Not saying that's a problem,
It's
but
just,
yeah.
it's just not built for black people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, it's very
Shocker.
possible that, like, you know, the kinks that we have to work out, like, disadvantage certain people more than others.
I think at the very least, it'll be from a Western white kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Like even if it is an understanding of the cultures, it'll still be fundamentally from like a.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not saying that it's gonna disadvantage like people of color because I mean.
It's just not. It's not going to like. It's not.
Yeah, we all accept a Christian God that was inherently like brought to us by white people. You know.
Quaku, we don't have to go there.
But it's
Yeah, I was like, that's also messed me up quite a bit.
Quaku, that's
yeah. I mean, it's
Like, I
no.
don't do
Honestly,
this
I
right
didn't
now.
come here to talk about this.
Let me finish my point.
I know. I was
All I'm saying is that lots of people of color have found like uplifting, like sentiment from this like idea like that was given to them by white people. That's all.
Okay, so I do want to speak to that point really quick, just because in my African Civ class, something
Hit us with it.
something completely opened my mind. Just
Yeah,
like
we need like a dashiki, Photoshop dashiki.
I do have a dashiki.
I mean, you're Nigerian. I expect you to have a dashiki.
I actually have a full. I actually just recently got a full Nigerian outfit. I'm pretty excited about it.
Weird.
I might rock it.
All right, after your point, I'm going to ask you about the hat because I'm really curious about the hat.
So okay, I don't know if I have a hat. I don't know if I have a hat.
All right, but please finish your point.
Okay.
Finish your point, then we'll hit the
So
hats.
just kind of our idea of power,
Mm-hmm.
or like territory, is very Euro-centric, and something we talked about in our class was that whereas Europe, land was at a premium, right? So there was
True.
constantly like, here are our borders, like we need.
When you say land was at a premium, you mean land was scarce, and so it was
Yes.
a commodity. People fought for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas in Africa, much larger.
People didn't have to fight for land.
That was not the main source.
You
of
probably
power.
only knew the two tribes that were directly next to you, but like,
Exactly. You want more land? Move away.
yeah,
There's
exactly.
plenty of land to go around for everyone, right? So in Africa, really, your power was based on relationships with people, right? How many
True.
people are under you? How much human bodies can you have? As opposed to like, okay, we have this square mile thing,
Uh-huh.
whatever. And the big thing about, when Europe came in is that they tried to impose their way of viewing power and territory on Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And what you see with the way they divided up Africa and everything.
Mhm.
It just didn't make sense. So just like thinking about even maps of themselves are very, like, essentially European.
Mm-hmm.
Like the concept of like what a map would look like
True.
is European, because that would not be. I don't even know what it would. I can't even fathom what that would look like because I've had Western, education and everything. I don't even know what an African map would look like.
I feel like it was oral,
Oh, it was definitely oral,
which works
but I
with
don't
the whole
even- but I don't
relationship
even know-
aspect.
So then, would there not even be the concept of like a?
So the thing is, I know that, and this isn't exactly like sub-Saharan Africa, but like, the Muslims of the north definitely had maps. Yeah, and they hit you with your character, Arabic characters are also like what we use for numbers too. Like,
I guess just wonder a society based on relationships as opposed to like how much land you have.
that's actually a very curious thought.
How does that translate into like a map? Like, let's say we want to go somewhere. Who owns this land? And where does that line get drawn? Is there a line? Is it?
Mm-hmm. You're right. I have no idea. Like, I don't think any of us ever can.
And at this point, it's over, right?
Uh-huh.
There's like no one thinks that way. That's just not what that's just not what it is.
True.
So moving back to Kanisha.
Yes, I'm back.
So zodiacs. Let's
so the lesser signs.
Okay. Now we're talking.
No, we can wait. Well, I used to be like very like obsessed with this stuff when I was like in high school, and a lot of people I know were. I kind of faded out for me, but like I don't know where does your interest stem from? And I'm kind of curious how much weight you put into these kind of things, because I'm not gonna lie, just like this guy over here was kind of like, oh well, I don't like that, and it's very easy to get into a position where you become attached to like your horoscope or something, whether it's like weekly or monthly or just like your horoscope for the year. But it's like, if you don't like it, you might tweak it a little bit, or you'll just be like, normally I put weight into these things or I trust them, but like this is not how I want my week to roll, right? So I'm just gonna forego that, which is not how something should work, considering that it has an actual effect on your life. Yeah. So I don't know, like your thoughts on that, or how much, where it stems from for you, like the fascination, or how much.
Please just give us your take.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's always been something that I've, like, ever since I could remember. I've been into astrology for a long, long time. I think the way I'll put it is I always want to care more than I actually do. Mm-hmm. Like, I read my monthly horoscope. Sometimes I'll like put like astrological events in my calendar, like things I should look out for. I just don't care. Like, I forget. But I like, I'm like way more into astrology than the Myers-Briggs thing, but I use it for the same reason. I just really like knowing how I respond to things, what's going on with me, what the stars say about me, and like how I move through the world.
Sorry.
Oh, you can go ahead.
No, I was just wondering also, so is it, because I feel like these are, I don't know if they're super Western or like European, but also like the Chinese have their ways of like doing zodiac related stuff.
Sure.
Like year of the,
every culture looks at the stars.
Well, right, but I'm just saying like the way we look at things, like I don't know, Cancer or
like
Pisces
Libra,
or
I've looked into
those are all Latin.
Actually, yeah, I think like the names are Latin. I think like the Western appreciation from astrology, I could be completely wrong, but I think a lot of it comes from like Indian culture and Southeast Asian culture.
That's
and then
so
we kind of westernized it a little bit. So the way that like our astrological calendar is a little different. I think I forgot what is different about it. I think it might be like the number of signs or something like that. There might be an extra sign.
Didn't they add another one like a year or two ago?
Yeah, they did, but no one. Actually, almost
like
no one follows that. Yeah.
Like, how do you add a sign? Did you shift it?
For the longest time, I didn't even know Sagittarius was a sign.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna throw one on me.
So they shifted.
My mom is a Sagittarius.
Good. Congrats to your mom.
I like Sagittarius.
I'm sure she's a really nice
Sagittarius
lady.
is a dope sign.
Sweet.
Miley Cyrus is a.
Well, we don't have to talk about it.
I was like, well, you win.
I mean, it makes sense though.
Isn't that like?
It does.
So Sagittarius is like late October, right?
It's November.
Early November. It's late November,
like
early December.
Early December, yeah.
I see.
So I will say, as much as I kind of complain about zodiac signs, Libra fits me very well.
Here we go.
We're in it.
I have to say, Libra is fairly accurate.
So,
with me, so
what time of the year is Libra?
That's
What is that? That's like
You know your
October?
birthday, don't you?
Yeah, but like, I mean, September 30th is my birthday, but I don't know.
All right, so probably it's late September, early October.
Yeah.
Libras.
They're fun people.
I remember I was talking. So I'm a Pisces, and I remember I was talking to someone. It's just like,
I think my mom's a Pisces.
Should you be like super sensitive or something?
No, I think that's Cancer.
Pisces are a little sensitive. Yeah, they are sensitive people.
I'm super introspective.
I would think of you as more. I would think of you more of a Earth sign, to be honest.
Earth sign.
Well, yeah, some of them. There's Earth, there's water, there's like I guess air. Or it's like
I think I'm
like Avatar.
I think I'm water because like
you are a water.
It's a fish, Pisces.
Yeah,
and then the one before that. Yeah.
It's a fish.
It's a fish. Yeah, it's a fish. And the one before that, it's Aquarius, which is a river. Like,
Aquarius isn't a water sign.
it's really not.
No, it's an air sign.
Wow, it's a river.
I know.
Yeah, that's also why you
messed me
can't
up
just
for
be
a
like,
long time.
Oh, Pisces fish.
Horoscope reader.
Yeah, no. I can tell you 100%. Like, I don't read my horoscope. I think it's nice to like look at what you are, but like I don't believe in it. Like,
I would put
it's
real
very
stock
weird
into
to
it
me.
in high school, but if it was like I don't like the way this sounds, I was just like I'm gonna forgo it.
So
I like that.
So let's read some
self-censoring.
positive and negative traits from the Libra because
Nice.
I do
You're
think
really focused on this Libra.
Yeah, hit me with a Libra.
because
Let's bring it back to me.
because I do think it fits me.
Yeah, actually, Elo. Before we hit you with Libra, Elo.
Cancer.
What's your Cancer, right?
I already said that you're not like
I'm
not
psychic.
intuitive.
I'm
You're
psychic.
like at all. I definitely.
Oh, you're right. I'm sensing.
Cancer.
I take what's
Bye.
No, I'm a Cancer.
Uh-huh.
My birthday is July 10th. My birthstone is a ruby because you've got all those.
I don't know anything about birthstones.
You bring that up.
What do you mean? What do you
I
mean?
know
You're
nothing
to
about-
talk about yourself. I can't just like share my.
No, it's just like I didn't know birthstones were associated. I thought that's a whole nother thing.
Everyone has a birthstone.
I know everyone has a
I think
birthstone.
it is another
It's
thing.
like it's kind of associated with. It's everything.
I know there's some people who
matters.
carry like certain stones because like,
I
it
don't
affords
carry-
them
I
certain
don't carry
protections
anything
and
in my
like
pocket.
certain
I'm
chakras. and
Sapphire.
whatnot.
I just want to put that out there.
Okay. I
Did
used
you
to
just
carry
look that up?
pearls,
See, everyone wants to know. So I'm a ruby.
I
I'm
do not want to
Cancer.
know.
Cancer.
Y'all
I think
are
I'm.
serious.
I don't know if that's like Earth.
I'm like stressed.
But like, okay, so Cancer is the crab, right?
Yeah.
And hard outer shell, soft interior on the inside.
Is that really what it
Did you
is?
make that up?
Yeah.
That,
gonna
no,
say,
it's
like-
a crab.
Y'all are.
Yeah.
No.
Is
But
that-
we mean
but
like
is that
like
I
what are
don't
the
know if I'm
characteristics?
Yes.
hard
No.
exterior.
Anytime I read anything about a Cancer, it's like you like have a wall up or you like.
This
have,
really
like,
makes me question the
a-
whole
like-
system.
No, that is true. That is
Listen,
true.
I'm super vulnerable. All right, guys. Like, don't.
Okay.
But you got that hard outer shell, you know.
Yeah.
Like we're just like tapping on the shell a little bit.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right, so talk about yourself.
Yeah,
Oh,
Libra.
yes.
What's the sign for
Favorite topic?
Libra
Isn't it?
again?
It's a ram, right? It's like
No.
a.
Is it like the
it's the
Taurus
That's
kind of
Aries,
thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
scales.
Scales.
Okay, so
Justice.
I mean, don't freak out about the positive traits, but because we're gonna balance
Don't
it.
freak out.
No, we're gonna balance it.
No,
we're gonna balance it.
we're saying like we shouldn't
there's
tear them down too quick.
Yeah,
What is
exactly.
that?
Okay.
So tactful,
Delicious.
Tactful.
romantic.
You can't be tactful in
Romantic.
CPT. You just can't.
No. Black people have defied.
Excuse me.
We can do it despite our CPT.
Excuse me. Charming, just,
Ladies.
diplomatic,
Ladies.
balanced. Okay. Negative traits.
Balance.
Negative
It's a
traits.
fucking scale.
Negative traits. Superficial, detached, unreliable, laid back, indecisive, self-indulgent.
Self-indulgent. There you go.
So I just want. So I know when you heard the positive traits, you're like, I don't want to give that to Kendall. Let's not gas him. But I think if you take both sides, give me a holistic picture. I think this is fairly accurate.
When I take both sides, I'm like, okay, I could see some of them for you, and then some of them are just like false.
Well, which ones do you think are completely just not true?
Read the negative ones again. It was
Superficial, detached, unreliable, laid back, indecisive, self-indulgent.
Why is laid back negative?
I don't think
I
it's
don't know.
superficial.
I don't think I'm superficial either, but I mean it's fine. Like,
But you're
I
just
don't
saying
think
that because you like a lot of good things. Like that's what my thing. Like I feel like you're taking the whole picture, right? And even though some things don't fit, you're just like the whole picture.
well, no, I mean I think at times I can be detached. I do.
But at
I
times
do.
anyone can be
You don't,
detached.
yeah, because you don't strike me as like.
The thing about astrology too is like it gets way more complex if you dive into your chart. You have
So I've heard.
rising signs. You have
Your moon signs and your sun.
You
And,
have your
Which is
your Venus.
I think indecisive. I think actually.
I mean, only you would know.
so.
I think.
I'm honestly gonna say like when you dive into those deeper signs, I just feel like now we're just throwing more adjectives at this math.
Well, it helps like balance. Like if you feel like something about your sun sign is wrong, because too, what your chart takes into like the position as well. So maybe your moon sign has a little more influence than your sun sign.
Right, you got to pick like what day you're born, what time.
Yeah,
like,
it's
all
like
that.
very very specific.
I think I was born at
I mean, I can't tell you.
I
You gotta
know
look
when
it
I
up,
was
too.
born.
I can't tell you off the
You know what day of the week you're born? Because I know, and I was kind of.
No, should I ask my mom?
I mean, it all has to be time zone
think she would
dependent too.
remember?
My mom was in labor forever.
No, but, like,
she'll remember.
Even when we say time, like what time zone are we basing off? Is it GMT?
They adjust for time zone.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like when we say it like out loud, like we don't know.
She's already got it covered.
I mean, like they adjust. I'm not gonna. I can't.
Yeah, because they always ask what place were you born to.
Yeah.
Well, I like
Chicago.
Yeah.
Nashville. I was born in Nashville. I was born on a Monday, which I was kind of like not upset about, but I thought it explained a lot of things.
Well, being born on a Monday.
I was born on I think that explains like my general like luck, my like outlook on life. Like no one likes Monday as the day of the week, right? Like sure that it's in memes and we all joke about Mondays suck. Just
True.
like okay, if you're born on a Monday, I think it's just like legend or rumor has it. You're not like cursed, but it's just like things aren't all like things are a little down
I've
sometimes.
never heard any of that before. Actually, I was born on a Friday.
That's
Wednesday.
nice.
Friday.
So-
Friday.
That is very nice.
So
I was born
in
on a
Ghanaian
Monday,
culture,
so-
like the day you're born on is kind of important because that's like the name you're assigned.
In
Wait,
what
they called you
culture?
Kwaku because of your name?
Because I was born on Wednesday.
In what
Really?
culture?
Yeah.
Wait, Kwaku means Wednesday?
Yeah, it's like cultural. It's
No
Ghana. It's like
way.
your day name.
Dude,
Yeah.
that means it'd be like
it's
a
the name
million
given
Kwakus.
Dude, have you ever tried looking up Kwaku on Facebook, dog?
Are you kidding me?
But not
Have you ever
everyone is
tried?
named. Not everyone is named Kwaku because they were born on a Wednesday.
It's the name given to men born on Wednesday.
By
Dude,
law,
there's no
I can't tell you
way.
that there aren't parents in a hospital room at one
I
point
said
that are
it's
like,
cultural.
we don't want to do this.
I said it's
Like,
cultural.
no, but
That doesn't mean that they'll do it.
No, I'm saying people do it because it's like it binds you. Culture binds you
Bro,
more than.
Kwaku, you're not usually full of it. I think you're full of it right now.
Oh my
You
God.
cannot tell me
I'm gonna
that
pull you
in
with
a
the
hospital
facts.
on a given Wednesday in Ghana that every boy
Yeah,
is
that's
named
what I'm-
Kwaku.
That's
It's
what
not.
I'm saying.
It's not like legally binding. Chill out.
Not
It's
Kwaku.
cultural.
Kwaku, I understand you, Killer. You're being rude. I have a culturally
No.
insensitive question to ask. So
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
Do you have a pet rhino, Kwaku?
No,
That's what
that's
you.
not what I said.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Is it demonym for Ghana? Is it Ghanese?
Ghanaian.
Ghanaian.
Ghanaian,
I thought it was Ghanaian. Sorry, I googled it.
Let me see that.
It's a whole chart, B.
Okay, we're not saying it isn't real. We're just saying on a given Wednesday,
So
not
it's
everyone
culture.
in the hospital is
No.
named Kwaku.
I'm gonna tell you, like everyone is like if it's not your first name, it's your middle name. If it's not your middle name, it's the name that you also go by.
I don't buy that.
Everyone's
I'm
Kwaku.
not gonna
I
post
don't
my
believe that.
Western beliefs.
Wait,
on
no,
it,
but
like,
Thank
I
you.
believe-
Thank you.
No, but he brought Wikipedia.
Leave this
invoked-
man alone.
Yeah, this man.
Leave him alone.
He invoked Wikipedia.
Like, yeah, I didn't hit you with any like
That's
pseudo
fine.
site here. Like this is
That's
wicked.
fine. Wait, who named you?
I think it was
Damn.
a joint decision.
Wait. For the
Oh, really?
record, like this is
Between,
another
like,
time where
parents?
Kwaku's culture has been slammed by
Your parents didn't
Nigerians.
say-
No. Oh. I mean, I don't know about my Nigerian name, but Kendall was just because my parents one day happened to have seen. You guys know Kendall Gill, the basketball player.
Yeah,
No.
for the Bulls, right?
So he happened to have gotten out of his car in like a really nice car, and they were like, "Oh, Kendall Gill," and my mom was like, "Oh, that's like a nice name," and my dad was like, "Yeah, that is a nice name," and then that was it.
I can't stand stories like that.
Didn't he play for the Bulls?
Like, when I hear people that are like, one of my roommates actually, his younger brother is named Chris. He's
Yeah.
like Chinese. His parents are immigrants. And he was like, yeah, my parents were really indecisive about what to name my younger brother. And they're like 4 or 5 years apart. And he's like, so when I was in kindergarten or whatever, first grade, there was like this really cool kid in my class that had a skateboard and his name was Chris, and I looked up to him, and like he never really let me hang out, but I was like, man, Chris is the coolest. So like,
Okay, this story is whack.
Wow.
at the hospital,
I feel bad
his
for
parents
him.
didn't know what to name his younger brother. Like they're Chinese, they didn't care.
Wait, so
whatever.
the kid is there. They're like in their presence. They just don't know what to call it.
No. So it's like right.
Well,
like,
I don't know if this
very
would have
popular,
been
very
born if she
popular
was still
in
pregnant, but
Eastern culture. Like when, like you know,
they knew it was
now
gonna be
is
American.
to yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like to give an American name or an anglicized name, right? So
Okay.
Here's
So
my
he
favorite
told his
story
parents
about
Chris,
this. I'm gonna let you
basically.
finish.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. He was like, Chris was like the coolest name I could come up with at the time, which I was like, well, really, like Chris, but okay. And so that's why his brother's name is Chris. His parents didn't know any better. He didn't know any better. Looking back on it, he's like, that was an incredibly foolish decision. Like, I was
See, you
5
say
years old.
foolish?
It's a bad name.
No, it's not a bad
It's
name. It's just like the method that people take. Like those stories when people are like, I saw something and then I was just.
I mean, I think names honestly are overrated. Like
What are you talking about?
Honestly,
I mean, it's just like
I can see.
like, does it really matter if they're Nick, John, Jason? Like,
yes, don't you think names for people?
Honestly, I can see this.
Bit.
I can see this from both sides here. Right, as someone who had to struggle through like people butchering my name like to this day, like having an easier name like definitely crossed my mind, especially when I was young. But it's also something I very much take pride in, right? So I can see like names mattering, but also like not mattering.
No, you take pride in your name, but I don't think it's like. If I would have been named Nick or something like that, I don't think...
You don't look like a Nick. Like when people say like...
he would have taken that persona, yes.
Yeah. Right.
Like Nick to you would have looked like...
What does a Nick even look like?
But there's a theory you would probably look slightly... When people say you look like something or you don't look like something, it's like if you had gone by Nick your whole life, you might not look exactly as you do right now, Kendall.
Like
really?
Yes.
That's what you feel.
It wouldn't be like a drastic plastic surgery change, but I wouldn't be able to say, oh, you don't look like a Nick because that's what he...
That's some fake news.
Don't do that.
No, honestly, like, if I see my teacher, right, like my teacher call on the first day Kwaku, I'll be Kwaku for the rest of the quarter, like, I don't care like that no more.
I'm so sorry.
I don't care no more, but...
Kwaku.
You said you had a funny one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is not even my story. My story's not that interesting, but my roommate Kim, she was named Kim, and then when her little sister was born, she's Vietnamese. Her father really liked the name Kim, so he named her little sister Kim, and so they were both Kim. Stop! Don't laugh.
And y'all are coming at me for those day names. Y'all are coming at me for those day names.
He was like back to back. Like
yeah, we going back to back. We going back.
It worked so well the first time. Let's like
no. But shouts out to Kim.
Which one?
Her roommate.
So her little sister's name's Stacy now, but I think she was
now.
Wait, what do you mean now?
I think she was Kim for like a good 6 years, and then.
Yo, we are being insensitive. This is someone's name.
Come on. This is funny.
I mean, I think it's valid. Like,
Lord.
if you're gonna have 2 Kims for your kids, you should have 2.
Like, what do you mean she was Kim for the first 6 years? How do you just get a name switch?
Actually,
but the confusion in the household is what I'm hung up on. It's just
the names I love most, like in terms of like laughing at, are those like new like those new white names, like the ones where it's like I need to be more unique than Tom. Like let's go with let's go with like Parker. Like
the way you look up like
Clarkson. Like
I always like the name Brick. I think
Brick?
No, Brick.
Like
you build a house with?
Yeah, I'm saying funny. Like
I feel like you're asking for a Fiji right there. Like you will be a Fiji.
Yo, no offense to anyone named Brick, but like
no, Brick.
Brick.
Like stacking bricks.
Right, that's what I'm saying, Brick. But I just feel like if I name my child Brick, like I'm automatically just like lowering the potential intelligence level.
He's a football player. He has to be a football player.
You probably, yeah.
Oh, I have another funny name story. Actually, I have a lot of these. So my mom wanted to name my brother Michael Jordan Williams because she just liked
Respect.
Michael Jordan. His name's Jordan now, but
Jordan Williams.
he was
That's
on
a good name.
That's actually a good name.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
It's conspicuously
Actually,
white.
I think I don't.
His middle name is
Hey,
I
I don't think I use.
No, but I'm saying like for jobs.
Would Jordan
sure.
would Jordan Elue sound good?
I don't see why it sounds bad.
I don't think it sounds bad.
I think it's a name that I haven't looked into.
Jordan
What do you mean that you looked into?
I've looked into a lot of names.
Like changing it? Why are you looking into stuff?
No, just like
for his kids.
Like
okay.
like am I gonna name my kid Vanessa?
No, I named my kid
I think
Vanessa.
like Jordan
Maybe
is
Lily.
Do we both say no to Vanessa?
Yeah.
No. But I'm just saying.
I named my kid Lily.
I'm here. Like Rose.
No.
Lily.
Stay away from flower names.
I'm gonna be real. When you hit me with your name was Kendall, like I was like, okay, so this dude's just like probably one of those new money blacks. Like,
What do you mean?
What are you talking about, Kendall?
Yeah.
Before I'd only met girls named Kendall. Like
that's why I thought it was like
money blacks.
Like like the kind of black people who are like from California.
Yeah, that's true.
Basically,
the kind of black people who are like from California, like have like
only from California.
New black.
It kind of happens.
Like, what does that
happens.
mean? Is that new black?
It's like the Pharrell. Like this is a thing.
Yeah.
It was like.
It's like
black.
Erica and Andre calling their kid 7. You know.
Oh my god.
7?
That's
wait, you're
his name.
comparing my name Kendall to 7? The number?
Well, you're not. I didn't think your parents were artists.
I swear.
I thought they might have been like bankers, you know,
Oh my god.
or lawyers.
This
lawyers.
doesn't make sense to me.
Lawyers.
Maybe like Blaine could be like a new.
Blaine makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
That's new money. That's upper echelon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
about
put
true.
Kendall in there too.
I don't know Blaine's situation.
I mean, we're not even talking about him, but just like the name Blaine sounds like it would be more skewed towards like new.
Blaine is definitely up there. Like it would be in my category.
Like Blaine, I would
categorization
expect to meet a Blaine at like Exeter. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
True.
Yeah.
I'd expect to meet a Kendall at Exeter, especially a black Kendall.
Okay, here's what I'll say. I absolutely am not new money.
I mean, I know who you are now. This is the first time I met you.
Is that my family?
Yeah.
That's my like
I feel like I've seen
internship family.
No, I'm like creeping on you now. I feel like I've seen a picture of you with your family.
Like none of those people look like me.
I mean,
Not like a single one of them.
Are they
that's
black?
So rude.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Sounds
people
like
just
that's-
look
they're like.
they could have been
I
adopted.
did
Wait,
my
so-
internship last summer with them. Yeah.
No, but I'm just asking because I feel like I've
All right.
seen a picture
No,
of
no,
your
you have.
family, and like y'all did look a little put together. I'm just gonna say.
Really?
I mean, but I think that just might be like that African Nigerian like aesthetic.
I mean, we definitely like.
I mean, Nigerians like to stunt, but don't
True.
get fooled about what's, what might be going on behind the scenes.
True, but like when you say put together, like I feel like that's probably what you're seeing. Like
Dog, can black people not just be put together? Like,
No.
no, like black people are always trying to
I know
prove
what photo
something.
are you talking about? This one?
No, not even that. Like y'all are standing up or something. I don't think it's that. See, that was so normal. I'm like, oh, what a beautiful middle class family.
What do you mean? I mean,
Oh,
it's not
by no
really
means was I
what they
saying that like Kendall's like now I know Kendall like I
This-
know he's
No,
like
I'm
hiding
not even
stacks.
trying to make any normative claims about Kendall. I was just like one time.
Wait, what word did you use?
I glanced at. I said normative claims.
Oh no.
No, that one's so normative. I just feel like one.
I don't know
time-
where this high class
Leave me
Louis
alone.
family.
I'm just like
Pictures.
Kendall sounded like I wore a vest to high school kind of name.
I wore
you know?
a vest to middle school because it was a Catholic school, and I'll be damned if you tell me it didn't look fresh.
Calm
kinda
down.
nerdy.
You know, it's not that deep. I'm over it.
also, so
That's just his water bottle.
I asked about
Water bottle.
about like your naming process because like it's tradition in a lot of or it might be part of the culture thing, and it's just like one of those things where like we were saying there's no way everyone adheres to that, and maybe people don't for this, but like in a lot of Nigerian families, it's tradition that like the father will name all of his son's children. So like where you were saying like at least for your American name it was a joint effort.
That
Like
happens to us
my
too.
grandfather named me
No.
and all my sisters because it's not my mom's dad, it's my dad's dad. He named all
No,
of his
that's
sons.
absolutely a thing.
That's actually a thing for us, too.
My grandfather died before I was born, like a year or two, and then my mom actually lost her dad when she was 10.
Oh.
So neither of the grandfathers were
Gotcha.
there. But my grandmother had taken it upon herself to refuse to call my sister by her real name and calls her Chibuza for whatever
What's
reason.
her real name?
Lauren.
Oh, her American name.
Or her
Yeah, okay.
Nigerian name is Indobaku. So she just...
So your grandma just calls her something that's not even on the birth certificate?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
She took it upon
She-
herself to give her a name.
Yeah, she lives in her own way. You know? What?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's the camera running out. Of
But
memory.
and my parents did sometimes, like they named my brother Jonathan because of my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Dad's dad, John, and my mom's dad was John as well.
Yeah.
So definitely has an
No, you're
influence.
good.
Tight.
We got what we needed.
Yeah, so that's one of our cameras. It's like running out of battery.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was just a practice.
Oh, so I do want to talk about when I was born, just because.
Oh yeah, that's how that was our tangent.
This moon sign thing. My mom says I was born a few minutes past 7 on Saturday.
7 a.m. or p.m.
PM.
Shy?
I mean, I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Gotta
what
have
that
to
means.
Google search it.
I
But
can.
you're the expert. That's
I
why
can
that's
put
why we
it-
brought you on.
I can put in a calculator if you
That's
want.
why we brought you
Why are
on.
you here?
I'm confused.
Yeah, let's it's been like an hour, so let's
It has
probably
been
like
an hour.
end on this.
Okay. I'm just curious. Like you said, moon sign, sun sign. Like, what does all this mean?
I know there is so much. I feel like we could talk about this for like another like hour.
Wait, is it you are a sun or a moon sign, or you have both and it's just the position?
You have like all sorts of signs, but people care about the sun, moon, and rising or ascendant.
Okay.
And it's like their position in the sky when you were born.
Yeah, they all work together.
Yeah.
They all work together to define each and every one of us.
It literally depends on like the degree they were in when you were born. So like they could, but not necessarily. Usually your sun does. Like usually the sun is the most important, but that's not necessarily true. Like I think my moon sign is a little stronger. Okay.
And the rising sign just never gets any shine?
Well, the rising sign is the shine. Like it's what people, when they meet you, that's what they interpret you to be. And your sun is supposed to be like who the core of your personality is, and then your moon is what you are when you're upset or like you're emotional.
So let me ask, the only way you can have this information is to know the details of when you were born, right? Because I don't feel like I could open my laptop and figure out my sun and moon sign without knowing like the day I was born. Like I'd have to go back to 1995 and see, which I know July 10th, 1995 was a Monday, but I would need like the time of day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think they'll look at the position of the actual like celestial bodies on that day.
Mm-hmm. That's a good word, celestial.
That's what they are.
For your child.
When was your birthday again, Kendall?
September 30th.
September. Okay. In what year? 1995?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
7 p.m.
She said a few minutes. Which minute?
Well, that's a.m., right?
Dog, do they have all 59 minutes there?
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Oh, man.
Which minute?
Let's say like 7:04.
Ain't that so subjective?
It's actually serious. I entered the minutes of my birth time wrong once, and like it changed my chart.
But the thing is, right? Like, who's logging these minutes, right? Is the nurse like getting you like right when you like your head comes out, or it's like when your whole body comes out?
Yeah, dude. Literally, they have.
I was born in Ghana, so it's like
you were
born in Ghana.
Yeah, I was born in Ghana, so it's like
my mom asked about my man. After all this trash talk,
I know about my name.
But he's African, bro.
Yeah.
Wait, you were born on American soil, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that like it might be a little different. Like who knows who's running that hospital? And probably varies from hospital to hospital.
The protocol, right? Like that everyone is supposed.
Don't they say born at this and then they?
Yeah, they literally clock the time that you're born, time of death. Yeah, there's protocol. You can't just be like, oh, this kid's out. Wow, that's a really cute pair of eyes. Okay, now I'm gonna clock this.
All I'm saying is I don't trust no African to get it exact.
Africans definitely made it up.
Nigerian might put you down for a smoke.
Africans definitely made it up. They're like, yesterday.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure my grandmother actually doesn't know when she was born.
Well, yeah, because she's your grandmother because she's old, right?
Yeah.
My grandma claims she was born on New Year's. Sorry, Grandma, if you're listening. I just don't trust it.
No, like,
it's for those
it's grandparents. Like my
it's for those forms, because you can just select the first one. So you don't have to go digging.
My grandpa, the one that named me, my dad's dad. I don't know what the birth certificate thing was in Nigeria at the time, which is because he grew up rich. You'd think he would have. His parents could have afforded a hospital that would have like logged this information, but like. His year is obscure. The documents aren't there, but we like know for a fact that he's somewhere between 97 and 102. So just like each birthday, it's like
hit him with that circa.
That's wild.
Hit him with that circa 100.
She had a 5-year spread.
I can't read. He said hit him with the circa.
Hit him with the circa. Circa.
I mean,
oh man, I cannot imagine being like, oh yeah, I'm like 21 or 26. Like
anywhere in there.
That's some like some Thon Maker stuff right there. Oh my god.
My grandma says she has 2 birthdays because she just doesn't believe the birth certificate. So
why wouldn't she? Like the institution? I feel
like she just said.
I understand that the institution of birth certificates is problematic.
That's actually a good thing to bring up because now I'm wondering about like Jehovah.
There is no way you have a segue to that quickly.
I'm wondering about Jehovah's Witnesses, right? Because they basically are a sect of Christianity that doesn't believe in celebrating anything above.
They're like
above Jesus Christ's birthday and the Passover.
Birth certificates?
No, so what I'm saying is like, right? And then we go back to another like, third world, like, kind of like,
Dude,
Ghana scenario. Like maybe if you go to a Jehovah's Witness hospital, who knows? Like they even like producing it.
Oh man, that's interesting.
Who knows they're even producing that thing correctly? Yeah, it's like.
I mean, when did it start mattering to say, hey, they were born at this time?
When the whites came.
Whoa!
I mean,
I want to apologize to all our white listeners out there.
That's not a hot take. That's literally what happened. Colonialism is when it mattered.
Do not share the views.
We gotta separate. For the record, I like white people.
I love white people.
My best friend is white.
I love my white friends.
Yes, I have many white friends. I'm a comp sci major. I see lots of white people, and I get along with them.
It's interesting because you guys are like, ooh, like my Nigerian grandparents, like my Ghanaian grandparents, like my great-great-grandparents were slaves, so I actually don't know where they came from. So I'm just like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's real because it's also so in my, like, I don't, like, neither of you have this experience, but, like, for me, I'm half Nigerian. My dad is Nigerian, my mom is American.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
I did not know that either.
Really?
Yeah. I always thought you were just, like,
half.
Nigerian, like...
Wow.
No, so it's like, it's...
Totally changes everything.
This flipped the show on its head.
Yeah.
I mean...
Hold on, I'm going to go get my food anyway.
So, I mean, I'm basically, the avatar. I'm the barrier between the two worlds.
Damn.
Wait.
That's deep.
Did she just compare herself to the avatar?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
No. But, like, I feel this, right? Because it's definitely a big part of, like, understanding my identity growing up is, how, like, African am I? How foreign am I? How African American am I? Like, Ego is just literally spanning those two worlds.
I literally have the perfect balance. But that's what I was going to say. No, like,
perfect balance. I love that you have that confidence.
Balance, because I noticed, like...
Because I didn't.
The way I grew up in my household, a Nigerian father who cooks certain cuisines or, like, there are certain, like... Not that he was big on traditions, but clearly there were differences or things he was more familiar with that my mom wasn't, and, like, vice versa. My mom is just, like, an American black woman. It's like, if two sides of our family come together, there's a clear difference between Nigerian and then just like black Americans. And I felt that in my household growing up, or like family reunions or trips or whatever, even between my groups of friends, like the African kids and the black kids. And it was nothing that, made me feel like bad or like outsiderish or anything. I actually feel like very fortunate to have an American mother because there's like certain experiences or things that she knows through her black experience. And then there's like the experience of like a Nigerian individual, which my dad can share with me. And there's also things like he came to the States for college, but there were still a lot of adjustments he clearly had to make and things he didn't really know. He had been to the U.S. a few times before, but it's just like, and this is like a really broad thing, but like issues with like racism and like systemic stuff that like a lot of us are familiar with, especially if we grew up here. A lot of African parents, like, are not, or at least my dad wasn't, like, having to deal with, like...
Oh, that's so true.
Having to deal with, like, the racism or the systemic issues that, like, my mom grew up with and is very familiar with, my dad was not familiar with. He doesn't... he gets it more now because he's been here for a while, but, like, he came to the States and was kind of perplexed about, like, this tension between blacks and whites. And, obviously you hear things, like, people in Africa aren't, like, stupid or naive to, like, what happens here on this broad scale, but like even like when he came to the U.S., can you imagine like being 19 years old and a black man and only just then learning like, oh, what's this like Martin Luther King Day? Okay, so we don't like go to work. Or, oh, there's this whole story behind this. My dad had like they don't teach about like the civil rights movement in Africa.
You only kind of hear about it.
Yeah. He had no idea, so he has to learn about all of these like. These civil rights figures, like, we recognize the faces of, like, Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King and stuff like that. My dad was about 20 years old before he understood, like, the assassination and all this. And, like, Jim Crow, like, that was not in his vocabulary.
I actually have a funny segue about this one, too. Is that my dad, like, has just, like, being an African, like, full African who came here when he was 20-something, like, he's just picked up, like, taking a love to, like, the Civil War, like reading about the Civil War and like how it intersects with slavery and like Abraham Lincoln and like everything going around there. And I'm just like, for an African man to just be so interested in like something that's just purely American, affected only Americans, it's kind of interesting.
He's like fascinated by it.
Yeah, he reads like books,
cool. Yeah.
books on it. Several.
I think it's important.
And also, like, I mean, being that he looks the way he does and has been here for so long, like when you
he literally just got his citizenship like last year. Yeah,
but he's been here for some years, right?
Yeah.
So it would make sense also that he would be so interested in learning about this thing that like suddenly affects him.
Yeah, for
when
sure.
it hadn't before.
Yeah.
I think even there is something to being African, coming over with maybe established resources. Like maybe your parents were like pretty well off in like Nigeria. You come here, right, and you establish a family, as opposed to maybe like a Black American experience where maybe like generations down the line you have not had those.
That's the part that you have
not had those like.
That's definitely the part that kills me so much. It's that like, it's like you're still experiencing this like suppression, like. Even like today, it's
like you share an experience, but at the same time, you have to recognize that
it's so
your
different.
experience isn't exactly the same.
Yeah,
necessarily.
Yeah, like when my dad came over, he came over because he was going to MIT. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think my dad came for Georgetown, but it's actually a funny story. He like when I mentioned earlier that my grandpa grew up quite wealthy. He gave each one of his sons and daughters like a certain amount of money when they got into like these good schools or whatever, and sent them off to the U.S. Mm-hmm. My dad grew up also like rather spoiled. It's something you can like still like can you imagine being not only Nigerian but Nigerian and spoiled? Like,
oh my god!
I've seen it all the time.
Even as a grown man, it's still kind of there in his personality traits, which is fine. But he got into Georgetown and he came to the U.S. and then he just blew everything his father gave him, ran through it, and because he was so used to just like me. He like some of the kids here, he was so used to just receiving like, okay, like daddy, I blew all my money, like I just had some fun, and then like his dad was like I don't know what you thought was gonna happen, but like you're an adult now, you're like a man, you have to handle this, which is also kind of hard to do in a new country.
Wow.
And he wound up just going to like some random state school in Tennessee, which is how he met my mom. So everything happens for a reason.
Wow.
But like I don't know, just in
my dad came with $2,000 and walked just miles and miles looking for a job.
Wow.
Really?
In the winter. that was.
And he came to Chicago? Why not?
That was his experience.
God.
But still, though, he was here for like a college degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he went to a great school in Nigeria. What would have been the equivalent of like, I don't know, I guess like my high school or something, or like it was like the like top school. It was like the top school in Nigeria or something like that. Like where
boarding school probably, right?
Yes, exactly. Whereas like a lot of maybe like Black Americans won't have that kind of like background or something. Mm-hmm. So like even me being born, like my parents have master's degrees. So like we may not be wealthy or something, but I have someone in my life that's like
man hustle for that master's degree.
I have people in my life that have like done the whole education thing before who have gone to extra school and everything, and that helps.
Yeah,
that's why you like have to be a doctor.
Sure, we could
lots of reasons. Lots of reasons.
I have many reasons.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Damn, this podcast has definitely been the realest one so far.
I think it's been quite real. Yeah.
Yeah. How about we wrap up with final things?
Final thoughts. Okay.
Yeah. Final thoughts.
Yeah. So it was interesting.
That's the one that always.
So I actually have one.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about basketball today, so I think it's time to talk about basketball.
Right.
I cannot overstate how impressed I am with Bradley Beal, Game 7, and I cannot overstate how ridiculous it was that Kelly Olynyk scored 14 in the fourth quarter, 26 points. He had like 26 in like 26 minutes. Absurd. John Wall. He's become one of my favorite players throughout these playoffs, but he didn't show up when the time counted. I mean, missed his last 11 shots. That was disappointing. I hope he bounces back. I hope people haven't, I guess, soured in their image of him, because I do think he's a great player. I do think he has a lot to offer, even like in his excitement and everything. Mm-hmm. And I wish him better things. But Bradley Beal came to play. He scored 40. He had that big contract. I think he showed that he deserves that contract. So that's my final thought.
I definitely I'm not ready to talk about this one. The Wizards are indeed my team, so I have many, 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 many thoughts, and I think I need to write them down so I can go through them in the heat of passion. So I'll just leave it at that. See, my final thoughts. Well, Well, yeah, I'm gonna bring it back to my Ghanaian culture, since you guys never give me the respect it deserves, But
you're definitely top 5 in Africa.
What
What does that mean?
Like you're top 5 countries.
One, we're the OG.
Okay, I hate when people bring let's talk about today.
Well, we're the OG, it's in the first country to gain independence in Africa.
That's so irrelevant. That's like.
I mean, I think it's a big move, respectfully.
Every time the World Cup comes around,
it's cool, but it's kind of like
cool.
It's kind of like Italy being like, oh, we had Roman back in the day, so we're running Europe right now.
Excuse me, sir.
No, you're not. I'm sorry, Italy. You had your run, but today you aren't
number 2.
You aren't even top.
I mean, when we're talking about where things are and who's playing catch up, then we can't really have this Nigeria versus Ghana rivalry. What do you mean? We're losing out to South Africa. They got everything.
But
South Africa.
It's white people.
But it's not just white people. Actually, lots of
they're doing well.
Yeah, I mean,
but
the black people.
Let's be honest.
Let's
be honest. They are. If you want to talk about media. You want to talk about pop culture, Africa? West Africa, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, talk about
Nigeria.
Style?
Right.
Yeah,
you don't talk about South Africa.
Exactly. I think when you add that in, when you consider that, let's not just focus on the economy, dude. Let's not just focus on the.
Let's not just focus on the things that matter in the general quality.
Let's focus on the.
Nigerians are so focused on style, which does not feed a family.
And let's go. and let's move on to tech. Then you have Kenya. Kenya is lapping all of Africa in tech. Yeah.
Wait, I have a question. Okay, so let's go back to the South African thing. Is there a reason they focus on the white people? When when someone's like I'm South African, what is that? Can we just?
Because white people were there for so long, they had the apartheid.
I remember the apartheid. I was just wondering.
There are white Africans in South Africa, but
I know that. No, I'm just asking about the media representation of that. Is that over? What is it called? Is it overshowing? Yeah, is it?
Well, it's definitely majority black, right?
By far,
right?
Okay, see, that's what I was asking about.
Okay, because you wouldn't know that through media,
right?
I'm surprised you could say that because actually, whenever I know they're not the sports athletes that do golf and stuff. They're white, but honestly,
I think assuming that
I always see South Africans as black first, and
I would know inherently because I am black, and I just you just know how things go. Especially on the continent of Africa, if it just seems like there are always white people in media, you can make an assumption or an inference. I think as a black person, there's common sense, and then there's black common sense. You know what I'm saying?
True.
I
know what you're saying.
I was gonna go ahead,
but I also I think when you look at media. The way South Africa is portrayed, you would assume... I wouldn't blame someone for assuming it's 50-50, that white people have moved up to
you're right.
50% of the
I wouldn't blame that.
That's a fair assumption based off of what is shown.
I just had no idea.
I mean, I think it has to do with the fact that you look at every other place in Africa, there's just not that many white people.
Yeah.
So it's that is the place.
No, but definitely colorism, as you guys know, big thing.
Yeah.
Really big in Africa. And so...
Dude, in South Africa...
No,
but I'm
really,
talking institutional, literally.
What do you mean?
Different
colorism.
Well, colorism is huge,
among, racism, but amongst all the different colors.
That's true.
Okay,
but in South Africa, it was straight up codified.
Yeah, it was literally cut. You guys should read Trevor Noah's book on it.
Skin are more complex.
No, you have
more complex
more you definitely have all different colors within there. It's very caste like. There's 9 different.
Very very much segments of
because it's also tribal
Interesting.
You should read Trevor Noah's book. It gives you a good story and a good explanation of what it's like.
Is there another?
I breathed in. I was like. Trevor Noah.
Wait, do you both not like Trevor Noah?
There's a lot of reasons to not like Trevor Noah.
Oh my god!
I didn't say there aren't. I just asked.
Okay, we literally need to have Kanisha on another time.
I guess. I think somebody else should have taken over the Daily Show.
No, you've done really well, Kanisha.
I don't think we've ever been this hard hitting and thought provoking.
I really have enjoyed you on the show. I personally think this is our best episode.
I think so too.
He got to talk about himself.
Camilla's every time he's okay, so about me.
Oh my god!
Oh, man. I'm really sad Tammy's not going to join us because he'd be laughing this up. He'd be let me go in. Let me go.
But
it's so fun. I'm learning so much, and it's oh my gosh.
But anyway, okay, so we'll put a pin in Trevor Noah, but
did you not know about his book when he or I don't know if it's the same book or maybe he just said something dumb in an interview.
What was it?
He was he was trying to tell black people about I guess how to react to things, or it was
that was his show. It was on his show.
It was on his show in the heat of some sort of protest clash or something that happened maybe just a year ago, because it's also kind of fresh, where he was just it was this moment of just high and mightiness, which you see amongst South Africans and a different
I feel like we need a South African.
Just South Africans or Africans?
South Africans and places that have dealt with the kind of, I don't know if I would call it what's the A word I'm looking for?
Arrogance?
No, we just said it earlier. South Africa experience.
Apartheid.
Yes.
Apartheid.
That kind of thing. Or his thing was just why don't you just do this? It was just very teachy to a lot of Black Americans. And it's who are you? This light-skinned, half-white South African.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
It was extremely paternalistic, and then
it was
so is that the moment where you're no, to Trevor Noah, or just overall, just as a person you don't?
I'd say you have to read his book to really understand his story, because it's not.
Before he took over the Daily Show, a lot of his jokes he just relied on just anti-Semitic rhetoric and just
his
stuff
stand-up is super.
He got in a lot of trouble when it was announced that he was taking over from Jon Stewart. One, not just because he's so funny, but because a lot of things that he had, just videos and tweets, and he went back and tried to do this clean sweep. And then when you get in trouble for old tweets and you're a famous person and you start blocking people, and it's usually you're in the wrong at that point and people aren't doing anything wrong by calling you out.
Yeah.
It was those instances. It was especially when he got condescending on the show, was trying to tell Black Americans how to handle this.
I need to read more about this.
The situation in America is so much different than what happened in South Africa. It was
100%.
It was kind of disrespectful of him, to be honest.
It was rude. And then there's just how he handled Toby or Tony or
Tommy Loren.
Tommy.
See, I didn't have as much a problem with that though.
Well, I think
Please,
it's
explain your problem.
to treat people politely. I think it's fine. I have lived with Republicans my whole life. I don't care. But it's another thing to use your platform and to kind of be unproductive with it. And then, as a person of that stature, you have, the way you interact with people is political, the questions you ask them, your demeanor. It's, it felt a lot to me when I think it was Jimmy Fallon. Fallon
played with
Trump's hair. That's how
really?
it felt to me.
It was a lot of people. It was. I think it's fair to say it's very similar to that in a different, but also
I didn't see
at points in the conversation it was just blatantly flirty, which kind of pissed a lot of people.
The way I saw it was that he was infantilizing her.
Yeah, dude.
He was condescending and all of that stuff. And sure.
Well, what would you have liked to see Trevor Noah do?
Ask questions.
But he did.
It was just very. It was a very.
I thought he asked some pretty hard questions.
He asked her to explain.
She could not answer.
Yeah, I thought she totally embarrassed herself on national television.
He asked a very good question, and she just really didn't have a response.
But he didn't.
But a lot of people were upset about the interview. I didn't get it.
I didn't know that.
It's
news to me.
Now, if you're on Twitter, people were upset about the.
All right, I need to do my research right now.
He didn't even but when she responded, he didn't even push her. He was just oh, okay.
So do you want him to be more?
Yeah.
Do you want him to be more
hard hitting?
All right.
Why not?
I feel there's no point to watch Trevor Noah's show. There's a point.
I stopped watching
the moment
Jon Stewart left.
Right.
We got to put a pin on this because our podcast is real long right now. So let's go ahead and sign off. So this was the 4.7%. Had Kanisha as a guest.
Yeah. Can I just say for a final thought thing?
Sure.
Something I would like to suggest to
Please.
people or leave them with, just because we talk so much about our culture or our
identity. Really.
Identity, yeah. And then how you brought up.
This was really an identity podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of not really knowing where that is, and me with just only being half Nigerian and having those two shared experiences. I would encourage a lot of our Black listeners to try and investigate that more, which is obviously not an easy thing to do. But I think there are resources now, not that I can cite any off the top of my head, where if you are a Black American, you can get a little bit closer to finding out what your heritage or what your identity is, maybe what region you came from, if not the exact country, because a lot of things have been mixed.
Yeah.
There have been generations and generations, so maybe a long time ago a group of Kenyans came over, but then things get kind of wishy-washy. But I think it's really important for a lot of our fellow students or just general just Black citizens should know a little bit more about where they came from, because clearly I think we're in a state where Black Americans are kind of like recapturing their identity from, I don't know. I wouldn't say from like white people exactly.
From oppression,
I love white people.
I guess. I mean, a lot has been erased, whether it's like the religious stuff or just like where you come from, or just like Black people have kind of been fighting for their independence and identity since day one, and that's still happening. And I think we're clearly something is happening in this country right now. And I don't know. That's just what I would leave people with.
Well,
I think it's important.
I have one thing, just like a quick response, because I've done a lot of like deep research. Like for a class, I was asked to look into it. And it's like I interrogated like both my parents and my grandparents, and it's like there are tools, but it's still really like when my grandparents don't know where their parents came from, like just don't know. I think that like the farthest back I can trace my family is to like a county, like one county in Alabama, in southern Alabama, and that's it. That's as far back as I can go. And I mean, there's like Ancestry.com, like I can send in my spit if I want to, but it is a little discouraging when you like just have your DNA and then things shift, and you know you can read a lot of the skepticism about like the accuracy of those things and you know how people migrate within the continent. But I don't say that to like discourage people from looking into it, but I think to just be realistic about that search and realistic about why you want to know, because I find a lot of comfort and strength in just being a Black American and understanding what that ambiguity means to me, and like what would change, you know, if I knew. And, like, would I be, like, fetishizing or commodifying my own ethnicity in a way if I did know? Which is not to say that people who know do, or, like, Black Americans who find out do. But it's just, like, being aware of why you want to know. Like, of course I would love to know. But I think I've found a lot of peace and found out a lot about my own identity and what it means to be, like, a Southern Black person, separate from being a Black person who I know for some reason came from Africa. I think or like the continent, like somewhere there. And so I think just making sure to understand how multifaceted that process is really important as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's like two sides to it.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, thank you. I also like how you like look directly at the mic. Like,
yeah, I was like, I implore you to listen.
You really poured out your soul, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, with that poignant statement, we're signing off. This is a 4.7% on a Wednesday.
Bye.
Big dreams, I'ma pull off in a zooming Audi. Roof open like a third eye, no Illuminati. Need a rack, I could triple that. I got all the bands in my pocket, except for Nickelback. Sipping that, Ipecac, wizard with the word vomit. Call that boy Simone Biles, flipping like a bird on it. Ooh, got them things singing like they Al Green. Ooh, I can't see you niggas like I'm Yao Man. Ooh, rather rock some Vans than some ball mans. Ooh, Brody pull up with a stinking car gang. Ooh, mask on, shock him like I'm Dr. Doom. Light-skinned girl pull up on me, she a octoroon. Whisper to me, we could do whatever if you got the room. Don't know what she talking about, so I chose to walk it out. Brain spacey like a parking lot. Kill a verse, let it sit, then I drag the carcass out. Chief getting hot, you ain't gotta bring the chocolate out. Y3, golden fleece, Jason in the Argonaut. Swear I'm up next, there's really nothing to argue about. If a nigga disagree, it's sorta like he did.